Hello everyone. I want to tell you something very important that you need to teach your horses. You know, some of you are going to think I'm a little crazy for telling you this, but eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. That's what we're going to focus on today. You need to teach your horse how to accept your hands on their eyes, their ears, nose, and mouth. Okay? Why? Because you are going to need to administer medication during the lifetime of your horse. I don't care if you are the most perfect horse owner in the entire world, you are going to need to treat their ears for flies. You are inevitably going to have to put eye medication in their eye because, horses can live 30, 40 years. If they get some kind of junk in their eye and you need to be able to administer ointment, you have to be able to do that. Their noses, they can become clogged. They can get, all sorts of gunk in there. You need to be able to clean. Their mouths, I know, my boy. Their mouths, you need to be able to administer dewormer for them. So you have to be able to put your hands in their mouths and put other things in their mouths. Put that tube of dewormer in their mouths. A lot of people, you'd be shocked at how many people cannot do this with their horses, okay? And it's because they have not learned, they have not been taught. And that's people that I'm talking about, not even the horses. But if you don't teach the people can't teach the horses. So this is all about education. But I make sure with all of my animals, all of my horses, that I'm constantly touching them. I want to touch their ears. I want to go down inside their ears. And he's shaking his head a little bit because it's itchy. But I want to be able to handle his ears. I want to be able to handle his eyeballs. You see, I can go in here, I can lift his eye, I can lower his eyelid. If I had to put medication in there, I can do it. Okay? His nose down here, I want to be able to get in there. I want to be able to clean that out with a clean, cloth or a clean paper towel. I can do all of this. This horse is not haltered. This horse he's not tied to anything, and I'm able to reach up in there and get to whatever I want. Even inside his mouth. He's not going to love this, okay? But, sit still. Ho, son. Ho, it's hard to do this with one hand. My thumb is now up inside his mouth, okay? That could just as easily be a tube of dewormer that I've got up in there. You see, he allows me to do it. It's because I have worked with him. I have practiced with him. I have, spent hours and hours and hours doing this with him. And he knows that I'm not going to hurt him. You see how low his head is. You see how relaxed he is, okay? No, this horse is not drugged in any way, shape, or form. He's just sitting here with me, and he's hanging with me, and he's allowing me to do these things because I've done them a million times with him. And I've done them for his safety and for my safety. Because I'm going to tell you something. There is nothing worse than trying to get a tube of dewormer up a horse's mouth, and they're throwing their head, or you're trying to put eye medicine in there, which, by the way, comes in a little tube of ointment with a little steel or metal cylindrical, whatever, applicator. And so you're trying to, which I don't do, but if you did it the way they want you to, you got to stick this metal thing in your horse's eye. Well, can you imagine if they fling that head? You're going to possibly give them a complete eye contusion. So what I always do in that instance is I clean my hands, I put the ointment on my finger, okay? I put a good slather of it on my finger, and then I apply it inside my horse's eye with my finger. I make sure my nails are cut. I do not want to ever slice inside my horse's eye. You also want to wear gloves when you're doing that. So even though you clean your hands, and to be honest with you, I've done it without gloves because I haven't always had gloves. But I always make sure I have clean hands. I make sure my nails are cut down because I'm handling my horses, their eyes, their ears, their nose. I don't want to ever nick them with anything. So, but, ideally, if you can put on a pair of gloves, apply it to the tip of your finger, hold the eye open, and then just rub that eye ointment in there. That is the safest way to apply eye ointment that I have found. And another area you really have to be able to touch on your horse. You should be able to touch any area on your horse, but you need to be able to touch under here, folks. Like his entire groin area, I can touch. If I needed to touch his sheath, like if he were, out right now, and I needed to be able to you know, grab that and clean it or whatever, he lets me do that. He doesn't kick me. He doesn't go crazy. But even so, this area under here is very, very tender, and I have to get my hand under here to apply fly medication. So you have to be able to get under these areas and be able to touch your horses. Same with down here, under the tail. And again, folks, this is not pleasant, but you have to be able to touch these areas. Like if I needed to, let me try and film this. And yes, I know this is gross. Well, I can't really do this with one hand. But if I needed to, I can get in here, I can touch what I need to touch, okay? And he's totally fine with it because I've taught him. I've taught him that my hands are safe. I've taught him that I am safe. I've taught him that I'm not going to hurt him. When you take your horse's temperature, guess where you take it? Right there, okay? So you have to be able to get to these areas on your horse, and you have to they have to be comfortable with it. I'm going to tell you something about mares. This is a gelding. Shakespeare is a gelding. He is a boy. He looks completely different under here than a girl does, okay? A mare, when you are under this area, folks, with a mare, it is extremely sensitive for them. It's extremely sensitive for the boys too, but the girls especially. If you are putting fly medication under here, if you're rubbing under here in any way, it's very, very sensitive for them. So I'm just going to show you something. I'm going to put my hand under here. I'm going to touch her, but I want you to see her reaction when I do so. Okay, so my hand is on her now. All I'm doing is laying my hand on her so gently, and she's reacting to that. See the head movement? See how much she's moving around? See how she's reacting to that? And I am barely touching her. That's how sensitive it is to her under there. Okay, and I'm just giving her a tiny little rub right now. But this is something that you need to be aware of. If you're under there and you're really kind of acting a little, you know, rough, that could really hurt them because they're so sensitive in these areas. So you have to be super, super gentle with them. She's actually enjoying that right now because I'm giving her a little bit of a scratch, a tiny bit. So you can see all that head movement there is just because I'm in a super sensitive area and it actually feels good to her. But I have also been under True where she's been eaten up by, you know, flies or something. And when I get under there, she gets extremely ouchy, and I have to be very, very gentle with her because I would never want to hurt her, obviously. So these are all just things that you want to be aware of. And again, you know, eyes, ears, nose, and throat with these horses. You know, I mean, I'm sorry, eyes, ears, nose, and mouth with these horses. You want to be able to get in there. Now she's tall. Actually, I don't want to do it with that hand because I have, I've got fly stuff on that hand and I don't want to put that in her mouth. But anyway, if I had to get into her mouth, I could, you know, but she does raise that head up. So you can see even a well-trained horse, they don't love having a hand in their mouth, obviously. So, you know, these are things that you really, really want to work with your horses, male or female. It makes a huge difference, and it can really make the difference between their health and safety and yours. So I hope this helps you all, and you know, hit those 4 buttons for me. I would really, really appreciate it. And yeah, I will I'll catch you all on the next one. And there's Wyatt, and of course I can do all the same things with him. So he's a super, super good boy. He lets me touch him wherever I need to. Hey, baby boy, you're such a good boy. Yeah. All right, folks. That's it for now, and I'll catch you later.